Most interesting papers written recently about AI. Tolstoy's Anna Karenina is actually in the bibliography, so it's quoted, and I thought that was pretty aggressive. And quite honestly, I think there's another section of Anna Karenina that is important when it comes to AI, and that is it's in part 8, chapter 9, when Levin talks about his relationship with religion, and there's this small passage where he kind of, and I'm paraphrasing here, talks about like, as long as I take the words of the philosophers that I read at face value by the definitions, I can understand extremely well what's going on. But then at some point I realize that these definitions, they're all human constructs, and they don't reflect reality, and therefore I'm kind of lost. And I think this really is, I would say, at the heart of the era of experience and the sort of relationship between the bitter lesson, the era of experience on the one hand, and sort of explicit human judgment in the process of training AI on the other hand. So we could use philosophy as it was written in the 19th century and still is written as a construct of, it's almost like a mathematical language. It's just vernacular instead of math, but it's a language. It's a construct that is built on human understanding, human logic, and reasoning. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not reflecting reality. So if you're looking for reality, whether that is you're Levin and you're trying to understand what's going on for your own sake, or whether it's an AI which is trying to understand science or other things, you're not going to get to reality if you hang on to human defined knowledge and logic. It could help you bootstrap yourself towards that reality, which is obviously where we are right now. Like, we would not have gotten to the AI, we would not have gotten to Dick Sutton and David Silver's paper, The Era of Experience, if we had not gone through the process of Christianity, scientific method, mathematics, Newton. All these things were necessary to get us to this point where we can understand intelligence as a process of try and error and finding its way based on constraints, that even those constraints should ideally not be put on in terms of human judgment, because, in other words, the reward functions should not be designed by humans. Ideally, they should be designed by the AI itself, which is trying to optimize itself towards a certain goal. So again, I think, part 8, chapter 9, there's a lot more to talk about Anna Karenina, and I'm going to have a formal review of the book. I'm almost done with it. And the book's certainly not just about philosophy and reality at all. I mean, it's actually, I would say, a smaller part of the book. The main character in the book is love, and love in a much more abstract way than maybe what we understand today in the 21st century. Love as a guiding force for what, almost that kind of guiding goal, that kind of guiding function, that if we follow that function, we will end up in a good place. Now, I think that's fair, and I think we can talk about this. And unfortunately, again, it's a word that people misinterpret. Some people see love as a romantic concept. Other people see love as a philosophical ground truth. So it's much more subtle than it might appear in the first place. But I think I want to take Tolstoy's argument that if we follow philosophy at face value, we do actually end up with solutions to problems, but those solutions to problems are kind of hermetically sealed within their own construct. So, this is Gödelian. Like, you can't define a system from within. So you need an outside arbiter, and I think the outside arbiter for us humans would be to relate ourselves with reality by finding an AI or something that can iterate against reality by evaluating its own reward functions and its own truth, not confined by human judgment. Thank you.